don't do that. Don't do that big kind of movement.
Table sick.
Hey everyone, it's Dylan and Brad, and we're here on site in Vernon at the Rise Golf Course for their new clubhouse, The Edge. And what do we got here today?
Oh, this is going to be really exciting. We've got their new 4-foot by 10-foot, a pair of double doors going in the entryway here. We've got an incredible 14-foot long dining room table we're installing and the private dining room door. We got a lot of work ahead of us. We've got 2 days to pull it off, and we're going to see what we can do here.
Let's go get after it.
No, I put a piece of dunnage.
We have dunnage to put down when we need. There's not this close one if you want to get the far one, but right. So the other sides probably have a bit more color. Eh?
No, they're on it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now, how are we getting this out of here?
Carts rolling down the asphalt.
I was going to say, could let you grab the other fork and then just pick up this side and we can do the same thing.
Too hard. Let's just get a rolling cart and we can slow it down. Because
You don't actually have any. Just like one lumber cart?
Don't we?
Yeah,
but
we have one right over there. It's all just
This commission ended up being one of our largest orders we did in 2024. Like my dad and I mentioned at the beginning of this video, they not only have this giant 14-foot dining table that's going in the private dining room, but they're also having us construct massive double doors that are going to go on the entrance of the restaurant that everyone will see when you go in. And on top of that, we're doing a custom piece that is the entry door for the private dining room. They're calling it their appetite room, and we're inlaying some appetite stones inside the resin panel on that door that you guys are going to get to see later in this video. To start things off, we're going to begin by working on the dining table. So this goes pretty similar to a lot of our builds. They've selected a slab of California Clara walnut from our friends at GL Veneer. And the layout for this table is quite nice because we don't have to do much alteration to the slab besides cutting it so that it's going to fit in the mold. The slab is going to stay mostly intact to give that look of the entire slice of the tree going down the full length of the table. Now this piece of wood did have a large decayed void in the middle, so we had to clear out all of that excess before we can flatten it on our CNC machine and then prepare to take it upstairs to do the resin pour. They're going to be going with a tinted black resin on this piece, which is quite nice because it's going to show off all the character in the edges as opposed to an opaque color which would cover up a lot of that character.
John, think you're in that way?
What are you filming? Sorry, did I ruin your shot?
Right now, we're just lifting it. So we're in like that. Pull that cart. And lower down. All right. Good. Now.
Ooh, that looks very money over here. That looks very
You
good.
can't talk that early. That's against the rules.
What?
You can't be confident that early. That's against the rules.
But that looks...
No.
Garrett,
Oh, that looks
what are you
bad.
doing?
I don't know.
Optimism. No, thank you.
Okay, are we just going to give it a push?
Sexy, it's in. Round up.
Better than crushing our
It's in the
It feels
mold.
pretty good. Look.
Very natural.
Okay, good.
Another interesting thing about this job is technically it's coming from a repeat customer, or at least the same family purchasing something. So about 5 or 6 years ago, we did a dining table for a local client here in Calgary. It was just a really nice dining table for her condo that overlooked the river. And little did we know, her parents were going to be building this golf course 5 years from that time. And they had seen her dining table so many times that they thought we were the ones that deserved to get to build the dining table for their golf course. So it's It's kind of funny how you do these jobs and you don't think something will maybe come of it in the future, but then 5 years later, here we are doing more work for the same family. And it's a lot of fun too, because the daughter who we originally did the dining table for, she's being very involved in the process of helping design and commission these tables for her parents' golf course.
Almost free. I think it's just over there.
That whole side's up. We're just stuck on. Yeah,
free.
the whole table, the whole thing's free.
We need to get some muscle.
Oh, that's what you were saying. That was a little bit of hip fire.
Right?
It's still sitting under there.
All right, now we're gonna start pulling cart.
This is ridiculous.
Once the piece is cured for 7 days in the form, we can get it popped out of the mold and then lifted downstairs onto our Avid CNC machine. So again, pretty standard process up until this point right now. The only thing you guys may have noticed that is a little bit different here is the shape of the mold that we built. So it's not a perfect rectangle. We've purposely cut off some of those corners just to save on the volume of resin that's used, because this is going to get sort of an oval shape to the table. The ends are going to remain straight, but we're doing a large radius on each of the long sides for this table. Now, the other challenge we ran into for this process is that our CNC machine isn't quite long enough to cut the template we need in a single length. So we're just building it in quarters, and then we'll screw both of those quarters together, and that will allow us to route half of the table at a time. Again, before we do that, we're going to use our track saw to remove some of that excess just to save the amount of router bits that we have to go through. So that's what you're seeing Randy set up for right now. And once we have it close to that size, from that point we can use the router to trim it down perfectly to the shape of the template. Something we haven't done yet that you're going to see us do later on this table is add a big bevel, kind of an undercut to this table. So not only did we have to route it into that shape to match the template, but we're also going to have to route it again to give it that undercut.
This table's so long. It goes forever.
Like I mentioned earlier, this slab has a large decayed section in the middle, and that can also present some special challenges. When you're going to sand over these pieces where there's hard sections of wood and soft sections of wood, if you don't stabilize it, what you'll get is this kind of lumpy and bumpy surface where the softer sections are sanding more than the harder sections. So we have to add a whole extra step to the process to make sure that we don't have that lumpy surface.
This is what we used to do at the other spot I worked at, is like we just kind of follow a line, try to make it look natural.
Yeah.
We try to follow like just the inside of this dark spot in here.
I'm cool with that.
To do this process, we're using our Black Forest Coat thin resin because it is thin enough that it's going to be able to soak into the surface of the wood, but it doesn't take quite as long as our deep resin to cure, so we can actually come back and work on this the next day. So once Randy's done painting all that on in a somewhat natural looking fashion so we don't get a weird stain on the table, he's using a heat gun to thin it out even more and help it soak farther into the surface. And once it's cured for 24 hours, we can come back with our Mirka and remove all that excess epoxy that was left on the surface. And what should be revealed beneath that is hardened, stabilized wood. From there, we're adding a 2mm 45-degree bevel to the top side of this piece, and then we're going to get it flipped over and start looking at the big custom bevel on the underside. So this was a custom request from the client. They wanted a specific look and a really thin edge just to try and lighten up the overall profile of the table. And we said we could do it, but we didn't exactly have a cutter to do so. So we ended up having to custom order this cutter for the job. And although we've got the biggest Festool router you can have and we got this big fancy cutter, it still requires a lot of patience and many, many passes. Randy's going to tell us later what he ended up doing on this, but I think it ended up being double digits for the amount of passes it took.
Is that it? That's the last pass? Yeah, that's the profile. I'll break this little shoulder.
awesome.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
I want to do that more. That looks amazing.
Yeah, right.
I'm done.
Yeah, let's do that all the time. Let's flatten, let's get the router flattened by hand too. Yeah, I should have marked like a prisoner.
Yeah,
like
get a little
days.
tally going.
I'm gonna guess 10, 12.
Really, that many? Yeah. Wow.
Here's a little bit of foreshadowing for what you guys are going to get to see next. Randy right now is routing out the pockets for the base on this table, and surprise, it's not an X base. This client, again, to fit with everything else on this project, had a very custom request for what they wanted to see support this tabletop. And to construct it, it was so complicated, we thought we needed to make a foam prototype first. So I will kind of try and describe what their request was. It's essentially two tapered cylinders that look like they're blended together in the middle. So if that makes no sense right now, that's all right. That's what this foam prototype is going to be for. So we programmed everything on the computer first to make a 3D model. Then we import that to our CNC machine, and our CNC machine is then able to cut out that 3D model that we built. There's essentially 4 different panels to this base. They're going to join in each corner, and when they go together, it should give the appearance of one single piece. So there is our foam and MDF prototype. You can see that tapered cylinder look that I was mentioning earlier. And now we've got the confidence to try it on the real thing. The material choice for this base was blackened ash. So we had to do a stack lamination for each of these components because we needed about 4 inches of material to actually cut this 3D relief in the piece. And then once the 3D cuts are done, we take them over to our sliding panel saw from SCM to trim off any excess. And then from there, John's got some techniques that he's going to use to strengthen the amount of joinery that we can have on these bases.
Then this is going to be glued onto this surface, which will then double my glue surface for the whole base.
When it comes to the joinery here, we're not doing anything overly complicated or fancy. Like John mentioned, he's adding an extra strip just to increase our surface area on some of those gluing edges. But other than that, we're just using the small Festool domino. We're using some Tight Bond 3 and then a whole bunch of clamps to glue this thing together. And the most important part is going to be the way that we sand this and blend everything together after so that it all looks like it was carved out of one piece. That's what the client was going for with this.
You're a little bit.
The nice thing about our CNC machine is that it ensures all of our joints do come out relatively well, so there's pretty minimal sanding afterwards in order to get that perfect. Like I also mentioned earlier, the client is going for the blackened ash finish on this, so we're using that General Finishes black dye stain on there to get that nice rich color, and then we're just doing a clear coat of our oil on there over top afterwards to further help bring out that color, but also give some protection to the piece. Because this piece is going to be used in a commercial application, like I said, it's going in the client's private dining room, they wanted something extremely durable for this top, so they opted for the 2-component acrylic urethane finish. This project was last year, so it was before the UV finish had hit the market. Otherwise, we probably would have went with that. The UV finish that we now sell gives a lot of the same durability as this 2-component acrylic urethane, but it's something that you guys can actually do at home, and it has way more repairability than a sprayed urethane finish like this. So not that there's anything wrong with these sprayed finishes, it's just technology is advancing and there's something out there now that we like even more. While we're waiting for the finish on the top to cure, we can head back to the shop to finish up some of the details on these bases. One concern that we had for this tabletop is that the footprint of the base was going to be a little bit small given the size of the tabletop, and that there could be a chance this would tip over. So we coordinated with the client to make sure that we could mount these bases directly into the floor of the private dining room. So that's what you just saw Jack set up. He put a piece of blackened plywood in the bottom of the base that will screw into the floor, and then we're doing our standard 1/4-inch steel plate screwed into the top with holes that we can then install threaded inserts to fasten the base and the top together. And our goal is that the combination of all this will give us a super stable tabletop, but we're not really going to know until we're there on site.
Go down. We're in.
Right, won't be until September to clear out this one, and then it'll start pretty soon.
3, 2. 3, 2. What was that?
See how far.
Before you get to see the finished product of the table, we need to get working on the doors for this golf course. So they have what we're calling a microlam beam construction, and we do this when we get clients who want that flat panel look on the front of their door, and when we can't utilize traditional style and rail construction. So the reason for this is because it's going to offer much more stability than just gluing up solid boards in that horizontal format like they're going to be looking for. Hypothetically, we could do that and just get 2.5-inch thick boards of ash that are 4 feet wide, glue them up so they're 10 feet tall, but you're almost guaranteed to have that door warp at some point in time. So it's more labor, but much better in the long run to use this microlam beam construction. Once we have the microlam beams glued up, then we're taking some ash to glue a frame around the outside of it just to give that solid edging so you're not seeing any of that microlam beam in the finished product. And then we make our own skins that go on the outside of these doors. Now, one thing I need to preface the construction of these doors with is that we did outsource a few parts of the process, especially the pressing. We used to have a big press, but since we don't really do much veneer, we sold it, and now we have to outsource that part of our process. So you will see us glue up the frames and the door slabs like we are right now, and we're also going to prepare the skins. Then we send it over to our friend's shop. They'll put those skins on, and we'll bring them back to our shop to resume the process. Something else that was outsourced on this job that is a really unique detail that you're going to get to see during the installation process is one of the main stiles going up the sides of each door is going to be sprayed in brass Verametal. Verametal is a new finish type that's only really been around in the woodworking industry for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years now. You've maybe also heard it referred to as liquid metal, but essentially it's a powderized metal that's suspended in a resin, and then it can be sprayed over any wooden surface to make it look and feel like real metal. And in this case, we're going with brass. Here you're seeing Curtis prepare a bunch of the pieces for the skins. No real joinery on these. Again, we're just doing butt joints with our Titebond 3 to glue everything together. And this is what's going to form the entire outside look of the door. It's also going to get that blackened look that we did for the base components on the main dining room. And the interior door is also going to match. So the goal here with all of these pieces is we're just trying to have that nice cohesive look. It's going to make everything look like it was meant to go together. Here we're using some jigs and spacers just to make sure that our friends are going to have an easy time pressing these on and get perfect alignment the way that we wanted everything to come out. To match some of the other components on this project, we're also going to be using the black and ash finish on these doors. So it's the same thing that we did for the base, and we're going to be doing the same thing on the interior door as well. So we do that stain, and then on these exterior doors, we're doing the exterior Osmo oil that we use on all of our doors, as that's going to hold up in the high UV environment, as opposed to something that would just be used on an interior environment. We usually like to do a couple coats of that clear coat on afterwards, because it's going to bring out more of the color in the black, but also give some sheen to the doors. Once we've allowed that to cure for 7 days, we can then come along and apply the black bore ceramic coating. And again, you can see this brings out even more of that black. So it takes quite a few stages of the process to ensure that we get the deep, rich color that our client's after. But it's definitely worth it to go through this because it looks quite a bit different compared to if you, let's just say, did the black stain on its own. Once the ceramic coating is cured, we can then start putting in some of the brass components on this door that I mentioned earlier. So the smaller pieces of brass are just going to be solid strips going across the width. And like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be an entire stile going up the vertical sections that is going to be coated in that liquid metal. They've named their interior dining room the Appetite Room. So to tie into that and have a bit of a play on words, we're using apatite stone. So that's the actual name of the mineral here, and we're casting these into a panel as opposed to just using a piece of glass in this door. Of course, we're using our black bore steep resin for this piece, and our process goes as follows. We have to do a base layer initially so that we can ensure we can machine this panel once it's cured and we're not going to hit any of those stones. And once that base layer has cured, we can add another layer of resin and then go ahead and place in all of those stones where we want them. We did find it somewhat challenging on this piece on getting that balance between a random and uniform layout. We had to make sure that they were uniform and that they didn't hit the outside edge and were going to be cut after sizing, but we didn't want them to just look like they were manually placed in there. So let us know how you guys think we did with that.
What do you mean natural? There's nothing natural about this. This one to the left.
What? Which one?
This one to the left. I don't know why that was so funny, but it was.
Good job. It's much more natural.
Spin the point that way.
You need them to be somewhat close to the edge. I can't just have them all in the middle.
This one, this way.
The hole here, though.
Because natural doesn't mean perfect even spacing.
No, I know.
Alright, there you go.
Thanks, guys.
Once that second pour is cured up for 7 days, we can get it demolded and popped out of the form. We're not going to be doing our usual finishing process on this, as we want to polish this up and try and make it look like glass as much as we can. So to do that, we're going to sand this up all the way to 4000 grit and then physically polish it using automotive polishing compounds. And what you'll see is it's going to give a glassy look to that surface. The reason we don't do this on our tables is if you make something this shiny, you are sacrificing quite a bit of durability. So we typically reserve this for things like wall art or decorative panels like you see here. Now, a nice added bonus with this project that we've been doing our best to include in as many of our videos as we can recently is you guys are going to get to see the full installation and delivery process for this. So our clients happen to be in Kelowna, British Columbia, right on the Okanagan Lake, which is one of the most picturesque locations in all of Canada. And this golf course is sitting right atop that lake overlooking everything. It's absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait for you guys to see.
Because, like, if this was the States, there probably would be some dude with...
There'd be a house in that corner right there.
How's that? Right there, guys.
Right about there.
Yeah. Stuart.
You guys are full of crap. You only need 12 guys.
Yeah.
16.
Okay. Thanks, dude. You can do that one more time tomorrow.
It's going to be a nice
block with the bottom going in first, so we should flip it over. Stand it up, okay?
There you go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, we're just wiggling here. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that big kind of movement. Okay,
So a little more.
More? Careful, our shins are kind of off kilter.
All right, you're in.
Okay.
Awesome.
okay, next door.
Start with that, and then we'll probably have to start. We'll work up after.
Tilt it back. There we go. Oh my God, pushing my bottom. Okay, left slow. Okay, keep going. Yep. You're in go? Yeah. Beautiful.
There's all the
Brad, they look fucking great.
That's a nice gap all the way down the middle too.
Let me shoot Tara a picture. Okay, good enough. Action shot.
Action.
What do you get on the backside? Oh, sorry, we know when you guys are close.
Already in.
Oh, I was unaware.
It was already in.
Face spin.
Go for it.
Okay, here's a good trick.
Throw a weeper. Okay, let's get them all started the same. That's how we did the other one.
This, and you come look at it, and then I'll do the top. Really nice. Okay, hot.
Garbage bags and stuff them with that stuff when the boys get a chance to. Look at the colors, the brass. Like, I'm not a big brass fan. Nobody is, mostly.
No, but you
Look at the way it ties in here.
Yeah, it matches the top.
There's some gold fleck in there or something. Sure.
There it is.
There's just enough. It's insane.
It's almost like
Insanely beautiful. Look at that.
I love this wallpaper actually.
It is nice. I'm sure it's $100 a square foot. This is nice wallpaper.
Our table's centered underneath this beautiful chandelier, but the room has a curved wall, so we have no way of actually locating the table. So what we've done is we've borrowed a laser level from an electrician, shot our laser up to the roof, and centered herself underneath all the structure up in the ceiling. And then with that, I've went off her layouts and centered her legs based off that, so we can then bolt the one leg down and lift the table into place. So you can shoot a line to the edge, and on each side to get like a floor placement.
I know, but okay, so we need masking tape to mark out.
Yeah.
So let's get a masking tape. I don't know. It's coming over here.
It does, yeah. Okay, that's good.
Something.
That and that, and then you get the center point off that.
Okay.
Great. Right there, right?
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
That's cool, man.
So we're going to set it upside down. I'm just going to set it right side up, and then we're going to put a level going down to our line.
I get it.
Have a precinct for
Pretty good. Transferred my plate size onto the floor, and I'm using a level to center my leg over my plate. And then when I'm there, I'll remove my plate and anchor myself right into the floor directly. Just fits. Now we go. Table's sick.
Obviously, we're happy with the direction it is.
No, so we can tear it and tell us.
I actually like it this way because the tree opens up as you walk into the room.
And you'll get more natural light hitting the nicest part of the grain.
What a big moment to actually lift this in, eh? This is it. This is kind of the culmination of the whole thing right here. That's incredible. Yeah, Ken Renton came down, they looked at this standing up against the wall in the back shop. Yeah.
Did you get your hug this morning?
Hey, buddy. How are you? I'm just saying, this is the culmination of this whole job, is the lifting of this table. And somebody count for the lift.
Yeah, I'll count us down.
Okay.
Garrett will count
Just
us
gotta make sure we
down.
avoid all the legs.
Lift with your legs.
It is heavy.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, we're gonna let Dylan go.
To the door.
All right.
Okay, come down a bit to the curved wall.
We're gonna put this
Come down,
first.
stop, down on this side against the curved wall.
Down here. On your side.
That's in.
Okay.
There, we're in. Let her down. Let her down. We're on.
That's fun. You got to be part of that big. Yes. How can
I got Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Hey.
Wow.
Oh my God! Look at it. Look at this room. I can't believe it.
This is perfect for a private dining room.
Look at this.
You got some
The
fancy
color,
parties
everything.
set up.
Unbelievable accomplishment, you guys.
Yeah.
We worked
Everyone
so
killed
hard
it.
on this and long. To me, that act of lifting the table on there, that sealed this deal for us.
yeah.
Yeah, we got her.
We swap out halfway through. This is gonna. You just did what?
I just did the whole golf before we left in ceramic.
I guess.
Myself, so. Here, give me 1 minute, John, just to go over.
Oh, 100%. You want me to grab one?
Well, we're done.
That's the end of that, Dylan. That's been a hectic couple of days here. Actually, 3 days now. We drove out the first day, worked all day yesterday, all day today. It's about, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we pretty well got our job done here.
Yeah, the boys killed it on this, not only on the build, but on the install. Everyone absolutely worked their butts off on this, and these pieces just turned out absolutely incredibly.
And we can't thank the clients enough for giving us the opportunity to build such absolutely magnificent pieces of architectural design.
Absolutely. So if you guys are in this area, definitely check this out for golfing and some nice dining. We are going to come back here right after it's finished up to show you the absolute finished product.
Yeah.
So let's go do a little walkthrough and we'll see what we got done here today.
Okay, enjoy.
This, obviously, is the entrance to the building. Double doors. We've used the Tectus hinges, which are very expensive, but they're very high quality and quite nice because of all the adjustability that they offer. The brass barometal styles and then the brass strips that go in there as well. This is our black and ash that we've done here, all with a horizontal grain. And let's take a look at these beauties opened up.
Back it up here for 5 or 10 minutes.
So let's check this door out. Obviously, with this being an interior door, we don't need all the same security and locking mechanisms. So we've just got these magnets, and they give this very, very satisfying latch. There you go. Again, the brass on the style, then we have all the rails done in the black and ash. This panel here is done with our black forest deep resin, so you can see we've got really nice clarity out of it. And the type of mineral used is called apatite because the name for this private dining room is apatite, so kind of a play on words there. And then if we turn around, here is kind of the star of the show for this room. It is the custom dining table that we've created. This is California Clara Walnut from our friends at GL Veneer, measuring over 14 feet long, 6 feet wide, and we have a custom elliptical shape. We have an undercut bevel, and then we've also done a custom base design for the first time ever for these clients on this table. We finished this piece with the 2-component acrylic urethane, and then we topped it off with our black forest ceramic coating, just for that extra durability that it provides. And it also enhances the contrast and makes this walnut look much, much better. But as you can see, this room is going to look pretty spectacular when it's all done. There's still some work here to be done yet, but like I said, we're going to be coming back to film a little bit more when they've got this place all finished up. Well, we are back at the Edge restaurant on the Rise Golf Course, I guess now, like, how many months later? When did we come?
Oh gosh, this was in July, wasn't it?
I think so. So,
July.
Yeah, we're back here now towards the end of October. They're officially open. We had another install in the area for an upcoming video that you guys are going to see, but we wanted to do our final shots and show off all of our pieces in the finished setting. So, first things first, here's the doors. They look pretty good. You know, obviously with them being brass, they're going to show patina and just some wear and tear over time, but overall things look really, really nice here.
They open beautifully. Oh, they got big openers on them now.
Oh yeah, let's see what they did for hardware. Ooh, look at the fireplace in there.
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah.
Here's the table. It looks a little bit different from when we left. Obviously, as you guys can see, they've put a sheet of glass on top of this just to protect the piece, which I totally understand why they would want to do that. It is going to prevent any scratches from happening on this surface. You know, even with this having the polyurethane finish and our ceramic coating, with this being a high traffic piece, damage can still definitely happen. It does kind of hide some of the detail from some angles, but this piece still looks absolutely incredible. One of my favorite things on this piece is the base that's on it. So we've got that pedestal base that we built, one on either end of the table, 2 pieces total to support this piece. It just looks really, really nice. And then we have the door that we made in the background here. So this mirrors or mimics what we did on the front doors of the building. The only difference here is that we have these this resonant stone panel. Really happy with how this came together. Thank you to the owners for commissioning us to build all of these incredible pieces. Big thank you to our team as well. Everyone absolutely killed it on all of these pieces here. The owners were blown away, we were blown away, and thank you to all of you who chose to stick around and watch to the end of the video, and we'll see you next time.